Friends, brothers and sisters, have you ever felt the weight of a divine calling, a whisper urging you towards a path you desperately want to avoid? The story of Jonah, a prophet seemingly swallowed by the sea, isn't just a whimsical tale of a man and a whale. It's a profound mirror, reflecting our own struggles with obedience, our tendency to flee from God's purpose, and the transformative power of repentance. Today we delve into the tumultuous journey of Jonah, a journey that echoes in our own hearts, reminding us of the unwavering love and boundless mercy of our Creator. Think of Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations. God's calling is often unexpected, sometimes unwelcome, yet always purposeful. Jonah, a prophet of Israel, received a clear directive from the Almighty: preach repentance to Nineveh, the mighty Assyrian capital, a city known for its wickedness and its enmity towards Israel. Imagine the internal conflict. To preach to your enemies, to a city steeped in idolatry and violence, it's a daunting task, a call that challenges our comfort zones, our preconceived notions of justice and mercy. Instead of embracing this divine mission, Jonah chose a different path. He chose escape. He fled. This wasn't a simple stroll to the next village. This was a deliberate act of disobedience, a desperate attempt to outrun the very presence of God. He went down to Joppa, a bustling port city, and boarded a ship bound for Tarshish, a journey far away from Nineveh, far away from the weight of his responsibility, far away from the voice of God. This act of defiance, however, wasn't something God overlooked. The sea, often a symbol of chaos and the unknown, became a stage for God's intervention. A fierce storm, a tempest of unimaginable proportions, descended upon the ship, threatening to swallow it whole. The terrified sailors, experienced mariners who had faced their share of storms, knew this was no ordinary tempest. Their fear was palpable, their cries for help echoing across the raging waves. They cast lots, a practice to determine the cause of divine displeasure. And the lot fell upon Jonah. He confessed his transgression, admitting he was fleeing from the presence of the Lord. He was the cause of this divine tempest, a living testament to the power of disobedience. The sailors, though pagan, understood the gravity of Jonah's confession. They knew they were dealing with something beyond their control, something far greater than a mere storm at sea. In an act of desperate sacrifice, they cast Jonah into the raging sea, surrendering him to the very forces he had tried to evade. And it was here, in the heart of the storm, in the depths of despair, that a great fish swallowed Jonah. 3 days and 3 nights he spent in the belly of the fish, a time of profound introspection, a period of reckoning with his own actions, a dark night of the soul that would ultimately lead him to repentance and a renewed understanding of God's boundless mercy. The darkness of the abyss became his classroom, the churning waters his teacher, the confinement a crucible forging him into a new vessel for God's purpose. This isn't just a story about a runaway prophet Jonah. It's a parable, a powerful metaphor for the journeys we all undertake, the internal struggles we all face. Think about it. Jonah's flight wasn't simply geographical. It was a flight from responsibility, a flight from his own conscience, a flight from God's will. How many times have we in our own lives tried to outrun our responsibilities, to avoid the difficult conversations, the challenging tasks, the uncomfortable truths? We bury our heads in the sand, hoping the problem will simply disappear, that the responsibility will evaporate into thin air. But just like the storm that engulfed Jonah, our attempts to avoid our obligations often lead to far greater turmoil. The storm, in this case, represents the consequences of our actions, the inevitable repercussions of ignoring our inner voice, the voice that whispers of duty, of compassion, of service. The sailors, those rough and tumble men of the sea, represent the innocent bystanders often caught in the crossfire of our self-inflicted storms. They were not responsible for Jonah's disobedience, yet they suffered the consequences. Their fear, their desperation, their willingness to sacrifice Jonah to appease the tempest. It highlights the ripple effect of our choices, how our actions impact those around us, even those who are completely unaware of the source of the chaos. It reminds us of our interconnectedness, of the responsibility we bear not only to ourselves but to the wider community. And what about the great fish? It's more than just a sea creature. It's a symbol of the inescapable nature of our choices. Jonah couldn't escape the consequences of his actions, no matter how far he ran, how deeply he tried to bury himself. The fish's belly, dark and confined, becomes a space of profound reflection, a crucible of spiritual transformation. It's a metaphor for those periods in our lives, those dark nights of the soul, where we are forced to confront the realities of our choices, to face the consequences of our actions, to wrestle with our own demons. It's in these moments of intense pressure, in these seemingly inescapable situations, that true growth often occurs. The darkness, the confinement, the despair, they become the catalysts for change, forcing us to confront our vulnerabilities, to shed our illusions, to emerge, if we are willing, transformed. It's in the belly of the fish, in the depths of our own personal storms, that we often find the clarity we need to move forward, to embrace our responsibilities, and to align ourselves with a higher purpose. It's a painful process, undoubtedly, but a necessary one. The quiet introspection, the forced self-examination, the agonizing realization of one's own flaws, these are the raw materials of genuine transformation. And just as Jonah emerged from the belly of the fish a changed man, so too can we emerge from our own trials, stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the divine purpose that awaits us. So the story of Jonah isn't just a whimsical tale of a prophet and a whale. It's a powerful parable about facing our responsibilities, about the inescapable nature of consequence, and about the transformative power of facing our own darkness. Think about it. How often do we try to avoid our duties, our commitments, the things that make us uncomfortable? How often do we bury our heads in the sand, hoping that by ignoring a problem, it will magically disappear? We rationalize, we procrastinate, we find 1,000 excuses to avoid the difficult conversations, the challenging tasks, the uncomfortable truths. We build walls around ourselves, hoping to shield ourselves from the realities of our lives. But those walls, those carefully constructed barriers, often become our prisons. They trap us, limiting our growth, hindering our potential. Consider the modern equivalence of Jonah's flight. Perhaps it's the entrepreneur who avoids addressing a failing business, clinging to a failing model rather than adapting to changing market conditions. Or the parent who neglects their child's emotional needs, burying themselves in work to avoid the difficult task of fostering a healthy relationship. Or the individual who avoids confronting a toxic relationship, choosing the familiar comfort of dysfunction over the uncertainty of change. In each of these scenarios, we see a parallel to Jonah's journey, a desperate attempt to escape responsibility, a flight from the uncomfortable truths that lie beneath the surface. But just like Jonah's storm, the consequences of these avoidances eventually catch up to us. The neglected business collapses, the child suffers emotional damage, the toxic relationship festers and poisons every aspect of our lives. The key takeaway here isn't about self-flagellation or wallowing in guilt. It's about recognizing the patterns in our lives, the ways in which we unconsciously avoid our responsibilities. It's about developing the self-awareness to identify those patterns and the courage to confront them head-on. This isn't about becoming a martyr, sacrificing everything for the sake of duty. It's about finding a balance, a healthy integration of responsibility and self-care. It's about understanding that embracing our responsibilities doesn't mean suppressing our own needs. In fact, quite the opposite. By facing our challenges, by confronting our fears, we often unlock a deeper sense of purpose, a greater sense of self-worth, and a more profound connection to something larger than ourselves. This is the true transformation, the genuine growth that emerges from the crucible of our struggles. It's about learning to navigate the storms, not avoiding them altogether. It's about learning to listen to the whispers of our inner voice, the voice that guides us toward our true potential, the voice that reminds us of our interconnectedness, the voice that calls us to a life of purpose and meaning. The journey, like the sea, is unpredictable. There will be calm days and raging storms, but it's in navigating those storms, in facing our fears and embracing our responsibilities, that we truly discover our strength, our resilience, and our capacity for profound transformation. The journey is the destination, and the storms are the teachers. They are the catalysts for growth. They are the very things that shape us, mold us, and ultimately lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. The question then becomes not how to avoid the storms, but how to navigate them with grace, with courage, and with a deep understanding of the lessons they offer. So how do we navigate these storms? How do we learn to embrace the challenges, the responsibilities that life throws our way? It's not a simple answer, and there's no magic formula. But I can offer some guiding principles, some tools that have proven effective for many I've mentored over the years. First, cultivate self-awareness. This is the foundation upon which all else is built. Take the time for introspection, for honest self-reflection. Journaling can be incredibly helpful. Pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions to different situations. Identify your patterns, your habitual responses to stress, to conflict, to challenges. Are you a flight responder? Do you tend to avoid difficult conversations? Do you bury your emotions until they erupt in unexpected ways? Understanding these patterns is the first step towards changing them. Secondly, develop emotional intelligence. This means learning to understand and manage your own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. It's about empathy, about stepping into the shoes of those around you, seeing the world from their perspective. It's about communicating effectively, expressing your needs and feelings clearly and respectfully. It's also about listening, truly listening to what others are saying, both verbally and non-verbally. Effective communication is crucial in navigating any relationship, personal or professional. Misunderstandings and unresolved conflicts can fuel the storms in our lives, so learning to communicate effectively is a vital skill. Thirdly, practice mindfulness. In our fast-paced, constantly connected world, it's easy to get swept away by the current, to lose sight of the present moment. Mindfulness is the antidote. It's about being fully present, fully engaged in whatever you're doing. Whether it's a challenging task at work, a difficult conversation with a loved one, or simply savoring a quiet moment of reflection, mindfulness helps us to stay grounded, to avoid getting overwhelmed by the anxieties and worries that often fuel our avoidance behaviors. It allows us to approach challenges with clarity and focus. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, cultivate resilience. Resilience isn't about avoiding setbacks. It's about bouncing back from them, learning from them, and growing stronger as a result. It's about developing a growth mindset, a belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's about viewing challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for learning and growth. It's about understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone towards it. Each storm we weather, each challenge we overcome, strengthens our resilience, builds our character, and deepens our understanding of ourselves and our capacity for growth. The journey, as I said, is the destination, and it's a journey best traveled with self-awareness, emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and resilience as your guiding stars. Now, let's delve deeper into each of these crucial elements. We've touched upon self-awareness, but let's explore practical ways to cultivate it. Journaling is an incredibly powerful tool. Start a daily practice of reflecting on your experiences, your emotions, your reactions. Don't censor yourself. Let your thoughts flow freely onto the page. Over time, you'll begin to identify recurring patterns, those habitual responses we discussed. Perhaps you notice a tendency to withdraw when feeling overwhelmed, or to become overly critical of yourself after a mistake. These insights are invaluable. They provide the raw material for self-improvement. Another effective technique is mindful self-reflection. This isn't about harsh self-criticism. It's about gentle observation. Take a few moments each day, perhaps during your commute or while enjoying a cup of tea, to simply observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Notice the sensations in your body, the rhythm of your breath. This practice helps to create a distance between you and your emotions, allowing you to respond to them rather than react impulsively. It's like watching the weather. You observe the storm, but you're not swept away by it. Regarding emotional intelligence, let's consider the importance of empathy. Empathy isn't just about feeling sorry for someone. It's about truly understanding their perspective, their feelings, their motivations. Try to see things from their point of view, even if you don't agree with them. Ask yourself, what might be going on for them? What experiences have shaped their beliefs and behaviors? This requires active listening, which means paying full attention to what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally. It means putting aside your own thoughts and feelings, at least temporarily, to fully engage with theirs. It also involves reflecting back what you've heard to ensure understanding. So, if I understand correctly, you're feeling frustrated because this shows that you're truly listening and trying to understand. Mindfulness, as we mentioned, is about being present. It's about focusing your attention on the here and now, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Simple practices like deep breathing exercises, meditation, or even just paying close attention to your senses, the taste of your food, the feel of the sun on your skin, can greatly enhance your mindfulness. Incorporating short mindfulness exercises throughout your day can help you stay grounded and centered, particularly during stressful situations. Imagine facing a difficult conversation. If you're mindful, you're less likely to be overwhelmed by anxiety, allowing you to approach the conversation with more clarity and composure. Finally, let's talk about cultivating resilience. This involves developing a growth mindset, as I mentioned. This means viewing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than as setbacks. When you encounter difficulties, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this to improve? It's about focusing on your strengths and building on them, and acknowledging your weaknesses without letting them define you. It's also about seeking support when you need it. Don't be afraid to reach out to friends, family, or professionals for help when you're struggling. Remember, resilience isn't about being invincible. It's about having the courage to keep going, even when things get tough. It's about learning to adapt, to evolve, to bounce back stronger than before. It's about embracing the journey, with all its twists and turns, and understanding that growth happens through the challenges we face. Now let's delve a little deeper into the practical application of these three crucial skills: empathy, mindfulness, and resilience. Think about a recent conflict you experienced, perhaps a disagreement with a colleague or a misunderstanding with a friend. Let's analyze how these skills could have improved the situation. Firstly, empathy. Imagine you were in a heated argument with your colleague about a project deadline. Instead of immediately reacting defensively, actively try to understand their perspective. Perhaps they're under immense pressure from other projects, or they're dealing with a personal issue that's affecting their work. By asking clarifying questions, I understand you're concerned about the deadline. Can you tell me more about what's causing this concern? You create space for open communication. This isn't about agreeing with them, but about acknowledging their feelings and understanding their situation. Active listening, truly hearing what they're saying without interrupting or formulating your response, is key here. Reflecting back what you've heard, such as, "So it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed by the workload and worried about meeting the deadline," shows them you're genuinely trying to understand their position. This approach softens the conflict and opens the door for a collaborative solution. Now let's consider the role of mindfulness in this same scenario. During the argument, if you'd practiced mindfulness, you might have noticed the physical sensations of stress, a racing heart, tense shoulders, shallow breathing. By consciously focusing on your breath, taking deep, slow breaths, you could have calmed your nervous system, reducing your emotional reactivity. This allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Mindfulness helps you stay present in the moment, preventing you from getting swept away by strong emotions. It allows for a more reasoned response, preventing the escalation of the conflict. Even a brief moment of mindful breathing can make a significant difference in how you handle stressful situations. Finally, resilience plays a vital role in navigating the aftermath of the conflict. Perhaps the disagreement didn't resolve perfectly. Instead of dwelling on the negative aspects, a resilient approach focuses on learning from the experience. What could you have done differently? What did you learn about your colleague's communication style? What strategies can you implement to prevent similar conflicts in the future? Resilience isn't about avoiding conflict entirely. It's about developing the capacity to navigate challenging situations effectively and learn from them. It's about viewing setbacks as opportunities for growth, strengthening your ability to handle future disagreements with greater composure and understanding. This involves self-compassion, acknowledging that you're not perfect and that making mistakes is part of the learning process. It's about celebrating small victories and acknowledging your progress, even if the journey is long and challenging. Remember, building resilience is an ongoing process, a continuous refinement of your approach to challenges, not a destination. It's about cultivating a mindset of continuous learning and self-improvement. This continuous self-reflection helps at identifying areas for improvement, allowing you to refine your approach to conflict resolution and develop even stronger coping mechanisms for future challenges. This cyclical process of learning, adaptation, and growth is the heart of resilience. It's about continually refining your skills and approaches, ensuring you are better equipped to face future difficulties. So we've talked about empathy, mindfulness, and resilience, three crucial pillars in navigating workplace conflict. Now let's delve deeper into practical strategies. Imagine this. You're in a meeting, and a colleague, let's call him David, vehemently disagrees with your proposal. He interrupts you, raises his voice, and uses dismissive language. Your immediate reaction might be to fire back, to defend your position aggressively. But let's apply what we've discussed. First, empathy. Instead of focusing solely on your hurt feelings or the perceived unfairness of his behavior, try to understand David's perspective. What are his underlying concerns? Is he worried about the workload? Does he feel his expertise isn't valued? Perhaps he's facing pressure from his own manager. Actively listening, asking clarifying questions, and genuinely seeking to understand his point of view can dramatically de-escalate the situation. Try phrases like, "David, I understand your concerns. Can you tell me more about why you feel this way?" Or, "Help me understand your perspective on this." This shows respect and invites collaboration. Next, mindfulness. Remember that deep, slow breathing we talked about. In this heated moment, take a mental pause. Even a few seconds of focused breathing can significantly reduce your emotional reactivity. This isn't about ignoring David's concerns. It's about gaining control of your own emotional response so you can engage more effectively. Notice the physical sensations of stress, the tension in your jaw, the tightness in your chest. Acknowledge them without judgment, and gently guide your attention back to your breath. This mindful pause allows for a more measured response, preventing you from saying something you'll regret. Now, let's consider the aftermath. Perhaps the meeting ended without a complete resolution. That's okay. Resilience means focusing on what you can learn and how you can improve. Did you communicate your ideas effectively? Could you have been more patient in listening to David's concerns? Perhaps you could have reframed your proposal to address his specific worries. Analyze the situation objectively, focusing on your behavior and identifying areas for improvement. Maybe a follow-up conversation with David, one-on-one and in a calmer environment, is in order. This allows for a more nuanced discussion, devoid of the pressures of a group setting. Remember, a constructive conversation doesn't necessarily mean immediate agreement, but it does mean a commitment to understanding and finding common ground. Perhaps a compromise can be reached, or a different approach explored. The key is to view this not as a failure, but as an opportunity for growth and improved communication. Furthermore, consider the broader context. Is there a systemic issue contributing to these conflicts? Are communication channels within the team unclear? Are workloads unevenly distributed? Addressing these underlying issues can prevent future conflicts. Perhaps you could suggest team-building activities to improve communication and collaboration. Or maybe you could advocate for a more equitable distribution of tasks. By actively addressing both the immediate conflict and the underlying systemic issues, you're not just resolving individual problems, but building a more harmonious and productive work environment for everyone. This proactive approach strengthens the overall team resilience. It's about creating a culture where open communication and conflict resolution are valued and actively promoted. Remember that feeling of frustration, that knot in your stomach after the meeting? That's a valuable signal. Don't dismiss it. Instead, use it as a learning opportunity. Journaling can be incredibly helpful here. Write down your thoughts and feelings about the meeting, without censoring yourself. Describe the situation, your emotional responses, and the actions you took. This process of self-reflection allows you to process your emotions in a healthy way and gain clarity on the situation. It's not about dwelling on negativity, but about understanding your reactions and identifying patterns in your behavior. For example, did you notice a tendency to interrupt David? Or perhaps you became defensive when he questioned your ideas. Identifying these patterns is crucial to changing them. Think about specific examples. Let's say David challenged your proposal on the new marketing strategy. Instead of getting defensive, what if you had acknowledged his concerns and asked clarifying questions? Something like, "David, I understand your reservations about the timeline. Can you tell me more about what concerns you specifically?" This approach demonstrates respect and a willingness to understand his perspective. It also gives you valuable information to adjust your approach. Remember, a collaborative environment thrives on open dialogue and a willingness to listen. Now let's talk about proactive conflict prevention. Before the next meeting, prepare. Anticipate potential points of conflict and prepare your responses. If you know David has reservations about certain aspects of your proposal, have data ready to address his concerns. This proactive preparation reduces the likelihood of heated exchanges and allows for a more constructive discussion. Consider sending a brief email beforehand, summarizing key points and highlighting areas where you anticipate discussion. This sets the stage for a more productive conversation. Beyond individual meetings, think about fostering a culture of open communication within the team. Regular check-ins, both formal and informal, can help prevent minor issues from escalating into major conflicts. Encourage team members to share their concerns and challenges openly without fear of judgment. Create a safe space where everyone feels comfortable expressing their opinions and perspectives. This might involve implementing regular feedback sessions, where team members can provide constructive criticism and suggestions. Remember, this isn't about avoiding conflict altogether, but about managing it constructively and preventing it from becoming destructive. A strong team is built not on the absence of conflict, but on the ability to navigate disagreements effectively and emerge stronger. This requires consistent effort, self-awareness, and a genuine commitment to building a positive and collaborative team environment. Consider implementing tools or techniques to enhance communication, perhaps a shared project management platform or regular team building exercises. The goal is to create a culture where open communication and collaborative problem solving are the norm, not the exception. Let's delve a little deeper into those proactive conflict prevention strategies. Remember that email I mentioned, summarizing key points before a meeting? Don't just state facts. Frame it to invite collaboration. Instead of saying, "Here's the marketing plan," try, "Here's a draft of the marketing plan. I'd appreciate your feedback on the proposed timeline, particularly the social media rollout. I'm open to suggestions on how we can optimize it." See the difference? It's not just presenting information, it's inviting engagement and partnership. Another powerful tool is active listening. It's more than just hearing words. It's about truly understanding the other person's perspective. When David expresses his concerns, resist the urge to interrupt or formulate your response. Instead, focus on understanding his viewpoint. Paraphrase his points to ensure you're on the same page. For example, "So if I understand correctly, your main concern is the potential impact on brand consistency with the proposed social media campaign." This shows you're actively listening and valuing his input. And don't underestimate the power of empathy. Try to see the situation from David's perspective. What might be his motivations, concerns, or pressures? Understanding his underlying needs can help you tailor your response and find common ground. Perhaps he's feeling overwhelmed by his workload or worried about meeting deadlines. Addressing those underlying concerns can diffuse tension and lead to a more productive conversation. Beyond individual interactions, think about the broader team dynamics. Are there any underlying tensions or communication breakdowns that might be contributing to conflict? Sometimes, conflict isn't about specific disagreements, but about deeper systemic issues. Perhaps there's a lack of clarity regarding roles and responsibilities, or a disconnect between team goals and individual objectives. Addressing these underlying issues can prevent future conflicts from arising. This might involve facilitating team-building activities that encourage collaboration and trust. Consider personality assessments to help team members understand and appreciate each other's working styles. Remember, building a strong team is an ongoing process, not a destination. It requires consistent effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to learn and adapt. Don't be afraid to seek external help if needed. A neutral third party, such as an HR professional or an external consultant, can provide valuable insights and guidance in navigating complex team dynamics. They can offer mediation services or help facilitate workshops to improve communication and conflict resolution skills. The investment in these resources can pay significant dividends in the long run by fostering a more positive and productive work environment. The key is to create a culture where open communication, respect, and collaboration are valued above all else. This isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about building a strong, resilient team that can navigate challenges effectively and achieve remarkable results. So what strategies will you prioritize to foster better communication and collaboration within your team? Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video on advanced negotiation tactics, and I'll see you there. Cheers, Marco.